Can you just speak to some of these problems? Because administrative law is interesting to the extent that it also suggests that the citizen has a certain degree of agency in intervening in laws, judicial processes. Even the KRA processes end up in a judicial review, isn't it? So can you just speak to this question of the administrative law and the questions of tax and taxation?
So yes, as a citizen, you have some recourse. But like I said, the fundamental problem is that as a starting point, KRA has a lot of power by law. So it is legal oppression, if you wish. The power there's no balance of power between the taxpayer and the tax collector. The tax collector can do whatever the tax collector wants. I think I have some details that I can just, because some of these things is usually difficult to remember off it. So I can tell you what KRA does. The number of things that KRA does relative to the taxpayer, and the smaller taxpayers are even in a worse place off, because you see, if you're a big industry,
company, you can hire a lawyer.
You can hire these tax consultants like Price Waterhouse, and they'll help you to deal with it. But if you're a small entity,
man running a kiosk,
yes, it can be very oppressive. So there are a number of things that KRA can do. And many of these cases have gone to court, and the courts have faulted KRA for failing to adhere to established procedures, because there are procedures in the law, very elaborate procedures in the law for tax assessment. So first of all, as a taxpayer, you're supposed to be issued with a proper tax assessment notice. In many cases, KRA does not do that. Sometimes also, KRA will issue you with a provisional tax assessment without a legal basis.
Okay. What does that mean?
They just come and say they want tax from you, but there's really no tax that is due.
Okay.
Well, they do that usually to forestall you from claiming for a tax refund.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's really how do I put it? Defense by offense. I don't know how to call it. So they do that. When they issue these agency notices, many of the times you will not get a notice of it. You'll just go to your bank and you'll find that
there's no money.
There's no money. They've just closed it.
Okay.
So there are very many abuses of the discretionary powers that are given to the Kenya Revenue Authorities. Let me give you others. Sometimes they'll not give you a hearing to respond to the agency notices. I'm not making these up. These are cases that have gone to court.
Okay.
And they are very many. What else do? They enforce those agency notices within shorter periods than the law permits. So say the law says they do it within 30 days, they'll do it within a week or whatever it is. They will fail to specify the legal basis for the penalties that they impose on you. They will take very long to respond to your objections, and nothing stops them from that. So, for example, the law requires a taxpayer to object to a tax assessment within 30 days. You must do it within 30 days.
Okay.
If you don't do it within 30 days, you'll be in a lot of trouble. However, and this is where I was saying that the law is very lopsided in favor of the Kenya Revenue Authority. So on the one hand, you as a taxpayer, you must act within 30 days. But as a KRA, there's no timeline. And so you find situations where the Kenya Revenue Authority is confirming those tax assessments even 2 years after you filed
your returns,
your tax objections. So you can imagine how punitive that can be, particularly for these small entities. I mean, where does a business have 2 million shillings to just be keeping lying, waiting for the KRA to act after
2 years.
2 years, the business will be dead. So many businesses die as a result. So because you can see how it then becomes easy for these powers to be abused. If you're against the regime, if you're a regime opponent, you can suffer. Your businesses will suffer.